Good.
All right, this is going to be a comprehensive review of all the vessels, including veins and arteries of the systemic circuit. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with veins. Let's just kind of prop it up on there. There we go. The veins, we will start with the superior vena cava. Okay, the superior vena cava, it's going to be a little bit more than the midline. This is kind of pulled off to the side a little bit. The superior vena cava, oh, sorry, ignore this. Don't need it. Superior vena cava breaks into the left and right brachiocephalic veins. Okay, up here we have our, I keep forgetting the name of it. What is, not the jugular, but the
Carotid.
yeah, no, it is the jugular vein. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart today. It's the easy, most common one. These are going to be our jugular veins. Okay, as we come out here, this is just going to be subclavian, axillary, brachial. Really good examples on either of these. I would like to get your median cubital vein, but looks like it's kind of been damaged. Median cubital would kind of go from here, and what it's going to do is run across the inside of the elbow and connect to the cephalic vein. The cephalic vein, which also this doesn't have a good example of, would pop out right up here and run down the outside. I'm sorry that this one doesn't have a good example to show.
Sorry, our class sucks.
It's okay. Yeah, sorry that's not gonna help your video much.
That's okay.
But yeah, so
We get the point.
I'm sorry, there's so much talking going on, I can't concentrate. Let's go ahead and go to the inferior vena cava, right? The inferior vena cava is anything below where the vena cava meet at the right atrium, but I'm going to jump to the abdomen. Okay? All of this is the inferior vena cava. Okay? The branches that you guys need to know is going to be the renal veins. Okay? Finish following this down. The renal veins. Oh, this is tough to see. Renal, I'm just going to do it on one side, so I'll do it on this side. This has a split. It's all bilateral. This is going to be the external iliac vein. This is going to be continuous into the femoral vein. When we dive down in here, right, this is going to be our popliteal vein, and as we continue down the leg, that is our saphenous vein, and that's it for veins. So, moving on to arteries. Starting at the heart, we'll do everything. Actually, let me just do the aorta first, and then we'll do everything superior to the heart. So, kind of hard to see here with all the more this is dissected out, but we have what's called the aortic arch. So it comes up, it arches. So yeah, aortic arch, descending. I'm gonna have to kind of go through a little bit. Descending thoracic aorta. Okay, it's in the thoracic region, and it's the blood's going down away from the heart. Okay, as soon as we jump past the diaphragm, now we have the descending abdominal aorta. Okay, so that's the aorta. That's the major blood vessel, right? If this ever gets damaged, you're toast. At least I would assume you're toast. So back up to the aortic arch. This is the stuff that branches out of this is what's going to supply blood to the brain and the upper extremities, as well as, you know, everything superior to this. So the first thing that comes out is going to be called the brachiocephalic artery. An important note, this is not bilateral. We do not have two of them, okay? This isn't the same on both sides anymore. The brachiocephalic artery, and then coming out of this makes sense. We have this artery that leads up the left side of the neck. This is the left common carotid. This artery that leads up the right side of the neck. This is the right common carotid. And then another artery that continues on in the thoracic region. This is our right subclavian, okay? So as long as you know that this is the brachiocephalic artery, these three kind of just make sense just based on their location, okay? And then our left subclavian comes straight from the aortic arch. Now, one big difference in humans from cats is I would take this left common carotid artery, and I would plug it into the aortic arch if it was a human. Okay, but dissecting humans, it's like a weird ethical thing. We have to take care of them after we cut them out. Beyond that, it's going to be the exact same as the veins, right? As we exit the thoracic region, we're now in the axillary region, so it's the axillary artery into the brachial artery, and that's all you have to know for arteries. Okay? That's everything superior to the heart. Not that bad. Let's jump inferior to the heart. Descending thoracic aorta, we already did that. So let's meet up right up here. Okay, this is a good view. So if you might have to look from like my side. The first branch here, this is going to take blood to our duodenum, pancreas, liver, etc. This is called the celiac trunk. Sorry, I'm having trouble coming up with words today. This is called the celiac trunk. Just inferior to this, we have what is called the superior mesenteric artery. Okay, this is what takes all that blood, puts it into our small intestine so we can absorb that food. Okay, so celiac trunk, superior mesenteric artery. It's kind of hard to see because the vena cava sits right on top of it. But our descending abdominal aorta continues all the way down here. We skipped over one of the branches that we need to know, and that's going to be the renal arteries. Renal just means it goes to the kidneys. That one's pretty straightforward. Okay. The next branch that you have to, inferior mesenteric artery. Okay, so superior mesenteric artery is up here, inferior mesenteric artery is down here, and then we have these arteries here that line the posterior wall of the thoracic cavity. These are going to be called our iliolumbar arteries. Okay? We have a bunch of stuff going on here. Next, we have this break, or this split. External iliac artery, and then you can kind of see it jumps down a little bit, and then we have a split here. These are the internal iliac arteries, right, because they're inside. So external iliac arteries, go around the colon here, but it would be here. Internal iliac arteries. Okay. The external iliac artery, just like the external iliac vein, is continuous with the femoral. Okay. The saphenous is going to dive down in here. Okay, it's the saphenous artery, and popliteal dives down in there. I'm sorry, this is gonna be a bad video. And then the saphenous artery will continue down the leg. And that's everything you guys have to know.